This is Shane coming back at you with another Carolina Panthers Facebook video blog. I'm a little late this week, but I just started back to class here in graduate school, so it's been a busy past few days. Then I was in Charlotte for the game, so I didn't get back until Sunday afternoon because I stayed with a friend down there. But I just wanted to make sure I got one in to recap Saturday night's game against the New York Jets. And I'm also going to go ahead and do a quick preview for this Saturday's game against Tennessee Titans. Just because it's still preseason, I don't really have enough information to fill, a whole nother video for a preview right now. But I'll throw a little bit in there in the second half of this one. Just to start off, a lot of people are pretty pessimistic right now in the message boards and everything, which it seems to be commonplace the last few years during preseason. But we'll do what we can. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's start with the bright spot. I think everybody knows is the defense. The defense is looking phenomenal right now. I mean, just held the Jets down all night long. We ended up with, as abysmal as our offense was, theirs was that much worse, I think, because they had less first downs than we did, less third down conversions. They held them to virtually nothing in the passing game. So that was really cool to watch. We've got a lot of young and hungry talent on defense, and they have a really good chance to be, an elite defensive unit. So from there, let's go ahead and go to Shane's superlatives for this game Saturday. I want to have actually a three-person Shane superlative on defense because they were just really that good and that impressive to me. Two is Everett Brown and Eric Moore. The duo, both of whom went to Florida State. Eric Moore, we picked him up in the offseason. Both of those guys ended up with 2 sacks and 3 tackles for loss in the game. Just a great performance by both of these guys. Everett Brown, after being real quiet last week against the Ravens, really showed up in this game and showed what he might be able to do this season. And third, I wanted to mention Dan Connor and give him some heads up because I was kind of down on him last week because I didn't think he looked that good out there at middle, but this week he looked pretty good. He was out there, had a lot of range, which was impressive because he's not as fast as some of our other guys, but he ended up leading the team in tackles Saturday night, and that was very impressive to me, so he gets a shout out for that. So for the offensive side of the ball, I don't know who to name for superlative, but you're going to like this one. I want to go with Jason Baker. That's right, Jason Baker, the punter. I know it's not technically offense, but you know what? That's just where I'm going. He averaged 50.9 yards per punt Saturday night, which is pretty good. I think he's improved from last season, which he was kind of hot and cold last year, but so far this preseason he looks like he's right on target. So I'm looking forward to having a good year from him. And he looked great this Saturday night. So, and not to mention the other guy that looked good on special teams. I got to let him, give him some credit. Is Todd Carter because he didn't look too good in Baltimore. He's our new kickoff specialist, coming in taking Reese Lloyd's place, and I think he looked like he was a little better this Saturday. Both of his kickoffs went through the end zone for touchbacks, and that's what we need from him. That's going to be important because it's obvious our special teams unit right now can't really cover that well because they had another big return Saturday by Joe McKnight, so we got to get that locked down. And so on from that, I know a lot of people are really kind of wondering what's going on with the special teams. With Armani Edwards had a rough night, and but what takes a little bit of pressure off of him is that everybody else looked equally as bad, if not worse, at times. So, 3 fumbles on punt returns, that's just not going to cut it. The guys just weren't on, and, you have to give Armani a little bit of a pass because he's just doing this for the first time. But guys like Kenny Moore and Captain Munderland who have done this in the past, they didn't look just as bad. So, I don't really know what to expect yet. Hopefully Armani, can get that game behind him and come out and look a lot better this Saturday night. I'm sure he'll have another chance to go out and do that. It's just he was just kind of down on Saturday after that, those couple of miscues he had. But I'm sure he'll get it together. He'll be fine. But aside from that, I'll talk a little bit about the offense because that's the trouble spot right now. Neither one of our guys could get anything going. The quarterbacks, Matt Moore and Jimmy Clausen, nobody could get anything going against the Jets defense, either the first or the second string. And, I understand that they were blitzing them left and right. Just like last week in Baltimore, they were blitzing them pretty heavy, but the Jets are the best blitz defense in the league probably. And they hadn't game planned for it at all. I know a lot of people saying that's an excuse, which it is, but that not being able to prepare for those blitzes, not having all your offensive line back, not having Steve Smith, not having Jonathan Stewart, but it seemed like a struggle. Besides that, it seems like even the running backs couldn't pick up blocks when guys would break through. So that's got to be worked on if we're going to get the passing game going, which is a necessity right now because it looked just like last year all over again. It felt like last night, and really don't want another season of that. I think they've got potential to be a lot better, and hopefully we're going to see Steve Smith maybe this Saturday night. I'll talk about that a little bit later, though. Moving on from that, the wide receivers, nobody still is really jumping out and impressing me that much. Kenny Moore, he had that one good catch, but I'm still thinking he might end up on the fringe getting cut. Maybe in favor of somebody like David Geddes, who actually looked pretty decent. He had one really nice catch and run Saturday night. And on from that, Dwayne Jarrett, he was looking a little bit better. He had 3 catches, but still not for that much yardage. He's a little bit slow, I think, but his hands look pretty good. He's catching most things that are thrown at him, which that's an improvement over what we've seen so far. So he still might end up nabbing that number 2 wide receiver spot. We'll just have to wait and see. And I'm still waiting on Brandon LaFell. He had 1 catch. Also, and I'm still waiting on him to break out because I'm really high on him. I think he's got a lot of potential. And also, Armando Edwards played a little bit later on in the passing game. He had a couple catches. I think he could be really good in the passing game too because he was open quite a few times I saw. So we'll see how that goes. But he's just, he caught that one late in the game and took a hit. It looks like he bounced back about 5 yards and landed. So, but it looked for a second like he might keep his feet and keep running. But he's a small guy out there, so we'll have to see how that keeps playing out. Besides that, just really impressed with the defense. Like I said before, just really great to see that a good defense can do a lot. Only allowing 9 points, and really 6 of those 9 points were off of special teams miscues. Is the reason that they got those because we gave them the ball so close. But just great job by those guys Saturday night. I'm really optimistic, and let's just from that go ahead and move on to a preview for this Saturday night's game against the Tennessee Titans. What I'm looking for, this is the 3rd preseason game, which that's when the starters play the most. They'll play about 3/4 Saturday night. This is usually the most realistic game day regular season simulation that the players get in the preseason. They actually should be doing some game planning this week, watching some film, doing things like that. So they really need to come together for this game. And I'm hopeful that possibly Steve Smith could play. He took full practice Monday and full pads and went through team drills and everything. So if he's feeling all right later this week, hopefully maybe he'll play Saturday night and we'll get to see maybe 1 or 2 series from him. I don't think they'll play him a whole lot. Still trying to get him back gradually. But it'd be nice to see him on the field and see how the defense reacts to that and see if our passing game really takes off from there, which I hope it will, just based on taking away defensive pressure from our other guys. And from that, I'm hoping to see the defense keep trucking along. I'm not worried about them at this point. I think that they're in mid-season form and looking really good. Just Julius Who right now. Nobody's asking about him, so we'll see how that goes and keeps improving. Chris Johnson coming to town with the Tennessee Titans. He's big 2,500-yard rusher, so we'll see how they handle him. Hopefully they really stymie him, and I want to see him hold him under 100 yards. He should play 3/4 as well, I would think. Both teams should play about 3/4 with the starters. So with that, hopefully they can work on special teams too. I'm going to look for that. Hopefully they can field punts cleanly and maybe break a return or two, and also in the coverage game, got to start covering stuff better because that ain't gonna cut it. I have to see what happens there, but that's all for now. Just had to get this in this week and start back at school. It's getting pretty hectic, so I'll be back probably Sunday sometime with the game recap from Saturday night's game against the Titans. But for now, enjoy the game Saturday. I'll be there watching and everything. So just make sure you pull hard for the Panthers. They need our support, so go Panthers.